All right. So the third question is one of the three signature tilakkhana is dukkha. Describe and explain in your own words the meaning of dukkha. This one I really don't know how to answer lah. Ha. Later ask Brother Lau to give his answer. But I can share you my which is Brother Lau say not very only partially answer to the question. So the doctrine of three Sinata Tilakkhana represents the three universal characteristics of all existing things of the phenomenal world, namely anicca, impermanence, dukkha, unsatisfactoriness, and anatta no so. The trial is important as it is through the contemplation on these three characteristics that one gains insight, ultimately attain the Nibbana. So dukkha could be translated as unsatisfactoriness or suffering. Sabbe sankhara dukkha, all compounded things are unsatisfactory or suffering. Dukkha is a universal characteristic of all samsaric existence. All the teachings of the Buddha are directed to liberation from suffering. On more than one occasion, the Buddha repeatedly says, as I did formerly, even now I preach about dukkha and cessation of dukkha. The concept of dukkha in its totality is formulated by the Buddha in the first discourse, Samyutta Nikaya 56:11, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, where he identified the following as the manifestation of dukkha: birth, decay, disease, death, to be united with the unpleasant, to be separated from the present, failure in getting what one wants, in brief, the group of physical and mental qualities made up the individual due to grasping, define aggregates of attachment are dukkha. So this is described by the first noble truth, the noble truth of suffering. So in the Samyutta Nikaya 22.59 Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, the Buddha says, form, feeling, perception, volitions, consciousness are not self. What is not self causes affliction or suffering, apadaya. They are impermanent and suffering. What is suffering is not fit to be regarded as this is mine, I'm this, I'm myself. The Buddha further says, any kind of form, feeling, perception, volition, consciousness, past, future, present, internal or external, solid or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, all form with right understanding. This is not mine, I'm not this, this is not myself. Then seeing this, a learned noble disciple grows this illusion with form, feeling, perception, choices, and consciousness. Sorry, should be evolution. In Samhita Nikaya 22.15 Yadadicha Sutta, the Buddha says the same thing. Form is impermanent. What is impermanent is suffering. In what is suffering, there is no ego. In if one is without ego, it occurs the saying there's not my that this I'm not. This is not my ego. So in what it means is anicca, because of impermanence, because of changes, they cannot satisfy. That brings about dukkha, unsatisfactoriness, and satisfactoriness. And because of unsatisfactoriness, they cannot be a stable self. That's anatta. So there are three types of dukkha according to Visuddhimagga. Dukkha, that means ordinary physical and mental pain. For example, headache, grief from loss. The second one is viparinama dukkha, suffering from change. For example, enjoying ice cream when it melts, one feels disappointed. The third one is sankhara dukkha, conditional stress of all formations. For example, even in jhana, when the jhana bliss fades, the very fact of being conditioned is stressful. So the Buddha teaches that all compounded things are suffering. However, he also shows the way to end the suffering. So when craving is identified as a cause of suffering, it conforms to the basic tenets of the culture formula according to what it may be stated. When craving exists, suffering exists. When craving is extinguished, suffering ceases. So the Noble Eightfold Path is a way to end suffering and attainment of highest bliss. That's my end. Any comment? But little brother Long, you please share yours to others also lah. Any
Give you everything to you already lah. You go and read through yourself.
you send to them also ah?
I send to everyone lah. You go and
Oh,
read through
okay.
yourself.
Okay, all right. Okay. So I go to the next.
One more.
Huh?
Any more? Still have.
Still got. Still got. Okay. So my fourth question is Dhammapada verse 1 to 7. So the the beginning, Dhammapada is one of the 15 books of Khuddaka Nikaya. Dhamma means law of religion. Pada means path, part of the verse or base. Thus, Dhammapada is translated as base of religion or utterances of religion. Dhammapada is an anthology of 4 to 3 Pali verses grouped into 26 chapters, classified and titled according to their subject matter. The subject matter embodied in the verses covers many themes ethical in character but includes fundamental doctrines of the Buddha's teaching. So 1 to 7, the verse 1 to 7 comes from the chapter 9, the evil, Papa Vaga. So the translation, na antalike na samuda majje, not in the air, not in the middle of the ocean. Na pamatanang vivarang pavisa, not entering the opening of the mountains, should be as mountains. Na vijati so jagati pada padeso. There's no place in the world. Jata tito mucheya papa kama, where the standing one, the being, would be released from the consequences of evil deeds. So word by word translation. So ne means negative. Antalike. Ne means not. Antalike in the sky, in the air. Samuda Matje means in the middle of the ocean. Pamatanang means mountains. Vivarang opening. Pavisa having entered. Vijati exists. Jagati Padeso means place in the world. Yata Tito, where the standing one. Mucheya would be released. Then Papa Kama from the evil deeds. So this is the word by word translation. So the story of verse 1 to 7. 3 groups of monks went to see the Buddha. On their way, one group saw a flying crow being burned to death in the fire. Another group saw a woman being drowned in mid-ocean. The last group saw 7 monks imprisoned in a cave for 7 days. All of them wanted to know from the Buddha the reasons for the occurrences. The Buddha related that the crow, as a farmer in the previous birth, had burned a lazy ox to death. The woman in the past life had drowned her pet dog, which followed her everywhere. The monks as cowherds in the previous life had imprisoned an iguana in an anthill for 7 days. Thus, the Buddha says no one is exempted from the consequences of his or her past evil deeds. Learning application from the verse 1 to 7. The Buddhist law of moral causation cannot be bribed nor can one escape the evil consequences of karma by seeking refuge in any place on earth. No one, not even the Buddha, can intervene in the operation of karma. The application, be mindful of intention before actions via body, speech, and mind. Wholesome intention bring wholesome karmic results, and unwholesome intention bring unwholesome karmic results. We could develop ourselves to do wholesome actions through purification of moral conduct, sila, concentration, samadhi, and visampanya. So purification via sila, samadhi, panya. Purification via moral conduct, via body abstain from killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct, not involved in trade of savory, intoxicant, poison, and weapons. Via speech, abstain from false speech, harsh speech, slanderous speech, and idle chat. Via mind, be mindful of the intention before our actions, avoid evil and do good. Purification via concentration, practice samatha meditation to unify the mind so that it could further develop to gain insight via vipassana meditation. Purification via wisdom, develop wisdom through truly understand the three characteristics of nature: impermanence, suffering, and not self and dependent origination. Exert right effort to rid ignorance and craving, the two factors that make beings tied to the samsaric world. So, conclusion: there's no escape from the consequences of evil deeds. Thus, we should strive diligently to purify ourselves via moral conduct, concentration, and wisdom, and aspire to attain the stream entry in the nearest possible time. That's the end of the question. Any comment? Now I go to the last.
Yeah.
Last will be write short notes on the following. I'm asked to do ABC. Okay? A is Sama Sankappa, right intention. Right intention or right resolve is the second of the eight path factors in the Noble Eightfold Path and belongs to the wisdom group of the path. It refers to the cultivation of wholesome intentions or motivations that are aligned with the Buddhist teachings. According to Samyutta Nikaya 45.6 Vibhanga Sutta, right intention is the intention of renunciation, Nikkama Sankappa, intention of non-evil, Abhyapada Sankappa, intention of harmlessness, Vihimsa. Right intention comes from right view. Right view see things as they really are, then see the danger or attachment to sensual pleasures, the suffering caused by ill will and cruelty. Right intention responds to that seeing with renunciation, good view, and harmlessness. So Nikkama Sankappa. Craving is the cause of suffering. The cause of suffering needs to be abandoned for the attainment of Nibbana. Desire for sense gratification nourishes craving. Thus, detachment from sense gratification is a prerequisite for eradication of craving. Desire needs to be tranquilized by correct perspective via renunciation. Renunciation involves letting go of the worldly desires and attachments. By cultivating renunciation, we can develop a more wholesome intention of seeking inner peace and happiness rather than seeking external pleasures. Abhyapada Sankappa, intention of non-evil, is intention opposing ill will, dosa, one of the three evil roots. The way to eradicate ill will is to spread thoughts of loving kindness towards all beings. By cultivating non-ill will, we can develop a more wholesome intention of wanting the best for all beings rather than harboring negative emotions towards them. Vihimsa Sankappa, harmlessness involves refraining from actions that cause harm to oneself or others. Intention of harmlessness is the intention aroused by compassion, karuna, which is directed to those who are in distress wishing for relief. By cultivating harmlessness, we can develop a more wholesome intention of promoting the well-being of all beings rather than causing harm. The threefold intentions counteract the unwholesome roots of greed and hatred. So, significance of the right intention. It is essential for the cultivation of other factors of the Noble Eightfold Path. Without wholesome intentions, it is impossible to cultivate the other factors such as right speech, right action, or right livelihood. Right intention is necessary for the development of wisdom, which is essential for liberation from suffering. Cultivating wholesome intentions leads to greater inner peace and happiness. The second topic is Anagami Phala. Anagami Phala means the fruit of non-returning. In Theravada terms, this is a third stage of awakening, following Sotapanna Phala and Dagami Phala, and preceding Arahata Phala. An Anagami, a non-returner, is one who will not return to the Kamaloka, the sense desire realm after death. Such a person has cut off the five lower factors that bind the mind to rebirth in the lower and sense-based worlds. The five lower factors that are eradicated by one who achieves Anagami Phala are Sakaya Ditti, Vichikicha, Silabata, Paramasa, Kamaraga, and Patika. Because sensual desire and will are fully ended, the mind of an Anagami is much more in peace and refined than before. There are five higher factors that are not eradicated by an anagami. These are Rupa Raga, Arupa Raga, Mana, Udacha, and Avijja. The anagami will not be reborn in the Kama Vachara plane. If he does not reach Arahata stage, he will be reborn in one of the 5 pure abodes, Pancha Sudavasa, that are Aviha, Atapa, Sudasa, Sudasi, and Akanita. Then they can realize Arahantship. The final topic is Panya Paramatta. Panya Parami. In the question, actually, it write Prashna Paramatta. Okay, so the Pali word param literally means the shore beyond. So parami literally means the word that would enable one to go to the other shore, that is attain enlightenment. Parami can be translated as perfection. Panya means wisdom. So Panya Parami means the perfection of wisdom. Perfections are virtues practiced by a Bodhisattva to gain supreme enlightenment, Samma Sambuddha. There are total of 10 perfections that need to be practiced by an aspiring Bodhisattva. The 10 perfections are generosity, morality, renunciation, wisdom, energy, patience, truthfulness, determination, loving kindness, and equanimity. So wisdom is a right understanding of the nature of the world in the light of impermanent suffering and not self. It is a right comprehension of dependent origination and the Four Noble Truths. Wisdom is an important factor related to enlightenment. It is samadikti in the Noble Eightfold Path, Dhamma Vichaya in the Seven Factors of Enlightenment, Vimamsa in the Four Means of Accomplishment, and Pandin Indriya in the Five Controlling Factors. The Jataka story for Panya Parami. Once the Bodhisattva was born as Seneca. He was very intelligent and learned preacher and used to admonish the king and the subjects. He was given a separate preaching hall for this. An old Brahmin was sent out by his young wife, to run an errand. He was given some big rice bowls to appease his hunger. On his way, he opened the bag and took out some rice bowl to eat. Then he went to drink some water at a nearby place, leaving his bag open. A snake crept into his bag. When the Brahmin returned, he tied the bag without realizing there was a snake in his bag. A tree deity who saw that man told him, "If you stop on the way, you'll die. If you go home today, your wife will die." The Brahmin was in a dilemma. He went along his journey until he reached the city gate. His cry was heard by Seneca, who was passing by the preaching hall. The Brahmin told Seneca what the tree deity had told. Seneca saw his bag and knew there was a snake in the bag. With great wisdom, he told the assembly what had happened and asked the Brahmin to keep the bag on the floor, open the mouth of the bag, and beat the bag with a stick. The Brahmin did accordingly, and the snake crawled out quietly. Seneca explained to the Brahmin that his young wife was not of good character, and he was sent to run an errand merely because she wanted an opportunity to meet her lover. With his wisdom, Seneca resolved the Brahmin's dilemma. So there are 3 aspects of wisdom: Sutta Maya Panya. Wisdom born of hearing or studying. This comes from listening to Dhamma, reading suttas, learning right view. Cinta Maya Panya. Wisdom born of reflection. This comes from thinking carefully, questioning, examining experience. Bhavana Maya Panya. Wisdom born of cultivation. This comes from meditation and direct insight. This is deepens and most transformative. Through these 3 ways, one could develop wisdom. That's all my presentation. Any question?
Very good. Anybody comment? No comment. End of it lah. Or any more?
Okay.
It's
Still got
quite
brother
long.
for one.
It's quite
Yeah,
long.
it's quite long.
So
Yeah, too
I
long.
think if short notes, you take up quite a lot. Then I don't think you can finish the question.
Yeah. Okay. I think write too much.
It's true lah, but it's good as an assignment lah. Okay. So
Okay,
Okay.
examination, please start with the easy one first. The one you can answer more, start with the question first. And then you mark whichever question you want to attempt. Okay. And then
Okay.
if you, especially your year 4 one, please go and read. There are a lot of things. They may put challenging question there.
Okay.
For year 5, most of them are okay lah. I think
Oh.
they have not much to change lah, unless they also make surprise challenging question also lah.
Hey, Brother Lau, you're supposed to share with us one question, right?
What?
You're supposed to share with us one question, right? No,
I send all to you eh. Don't
Yeah,
okay.
it's in the email.
Okay.
It's
I
in the
all give you
email.
Pasar malam everything for you
Okay.
So this is the final one.